Now it's start. Jazakallah khair for coming. I got to bore you guys. Bismillah So, your informational structure. We're going to talk about of Islamic state planning, why it is important, Sunnah, and then go after in legal structures. Small legal disclaimer. Anybody to come meet me? This is successful. This is I don't want any criticism. This is tough. So this is for information. We're gonna talk. Anybody have any personal orders? Let's have a think. We do not want any personal information on a community basis. So I don't need. Why we are doing this? What is the purpose, goal? Introduce myself. So my name is Yasser Ziad. I've been doing financial and Islamic state planning since 2011. I came into this field after my father passed away. Our community and our especially parents in we live every Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any planning, but Allah tie or can you have a thought. So I started learning the ways of our families. In 2011, we have a lot of requests to go to Islamic distribution according to Quran, and then we research what we merge Islam with American law. Conflict. We don't want Islamic and we Islamophobic coming up, and this is not a Sharia country and do this. So we are doing this is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that learn inheritance other, it is a knowledge and it will be, and it is the first will be taken away from a home. So this concept, my mission 11 is to the concept and the Islamic inheritance law, try to educate our communities who do that and who to live it. And inheritance, teach it for the knowledge will be discreet until to a month and they won't later. So the problem is when so the back to this, I'm sorry, Vatan. So the whole of this hadith is that at the end of the time, there's very few people rise in inheritance, and we see conflicts in a family, conflicts in a community, and find a person who help them. The worldly matter could be scared issues. So it is very important. So basically, a few things. Number one, appropriate estate planning. What makes a components of plan, and we're going to go question answers. Try to go through as fast. We have more question answers. We have presentation. What is the process? The court supervisor transfer title asset death to your family. Take about 6 to about 18 months. It is expensive and consuming. Deal with the court back and there are scenarios I will go after. What happens if you have a will? What happens? Trust. The probate between 6 to 10% of your total assets, and also it is completely able. There's some proper planning that we can probate completely. Main for avoid unnecessary problem. It delays. For example, a account, wife is not on, and if something happened to husband, you have to go get the death certificate 2 weeks, then follow, and then go lateral to go access that money. They could stuck and they need those funds. Very expensive. Publicly, everything is publicity. All your asset and whoever's receive whatever, it is posted on a court. What is estate? Jewelry, business, any digital assets, crypto, if you have that you own, your watches, your work, all of those you consider your estate. Estate planning. A comprehensive process of and structuring assets and financial their wishes for distribution of their asset upon their death. And the process typically of creating a legal trust and the whole asset will be distributed. So instead of boring you guys, it is a simplified what document each person have a going to Hajj, somebody have a family, some process, then they have a different scenario to analyze, and we have how can we protect that family. The planning have distribution minimum guardianship, which is very for Muslims in United. In case something happens, husband and wife both have a proper guardianship for their minor children. It is their guardian. That is typically non-Islamic. The custodian, there's no guarantee that all for the Islamic. Ensuring the privacy. For instance, we have guidelines and structure set up that the trust is private and the all the proceeding privately. They will pursue that. Reduce conflicts. We have over, mashallah, 14 years. We have seen many conflicts, and many people are able to help just because of family inheritance and they do not have a proper structure. And then health and financial. So directives of advanced medical directives will, for example, 2 years back we have a in Annapolis who died, family never, he was cremated. Very important document that we dictate treatment is going to happen. Talk to doctor for and the burial procedure. What are the goals for state? So protect protect spouse and children inheritance from creditors, provide planning, and reduce disagreement among. Some mistakes that we have: one, have no plan at all. Last 40 internet forms, we have very few limited infrastructure, and they have a proper. Every family have, and not no template that is every single family. Accurate beneficiary. Old proceeding, or if somebody, you need to change the beneficiary goals. Failing to protect assets, creditors. So IRS, if Mr. Trump can be president and not paying taxes, that's a law is coming against them. If they are in a divorce proceeding, assets fall. What makes and the whole concept of understanding where it came from, a state will go after. The main concept of Islamic state planning is wealth is distributed plus command. Specialized approach that ensures distributed according to Sharia, which is defined in Quran. And Muhammad Sallallahu and many hadiths that we're going to that shows the importance of his protecting your legacy, business obligations, leaving loved ones unvulnerable and illegal disputes. Islamic state planning, why planning matters? As in Surah Subhanahu wa ta'ala says, be fair to your parents, and as you do not to you. This is obligation from Allah. Surely Allah is knowing and wise. The concept of a 5-year-old son, father who's as a human, not make a justification. I want to give a son. I will say, my father already life and he doesn't have to do my parents. But says that you do not is more for you. So we have two exact laws in Quran. Estate planning is protecting families. Faith legacy. Quran provides a clear guide. More. Surah Nisa. This is the essence of guardianship. Surah Ayah 5, how to guardianship setup and what estate planning concept. Not interest in capable of your dependents, which Allah has made a mean of support for, feed them, clothe them, and speak to them kindly. So, could be minor. Minors are people needs or medical issues. Says on 6, friends in their ability to reach marriageable age, then if you sound judgment, seize their property and do not consume exclusively and quickly, they will grow up. And whoever acting as is self-sufficient, refrain from taking a fee. Whoever is a poor, let according to what is acceptable. Then release the property, bring a witness upon the and sufficient. So just the whole concept of state planning, having a proper structure, it comes from this ayah. And have it when you orphans, you have to have a chain of command and consume it. They're gonna grow up, and I can eat. We can spend it. They grow up. Allah Quran ayah of Surah Quran. It is prescribed that death approaches to you. If they leave some value made in favor of immediate family. This is a those who are the mindful. It is not optional. We are, no matter what you do and how you do it, obligation for every single day. It is we are forgotten and we have to carry on. And in Surah Nisa, Allah says there's a share in what their parents and relative leave, and for women in their closest relative leave, whether it is little or much. These are shares. We focus on this. Some people, I have nothing to do with it. I have no value. I just have minor bank accounts for children. Structure plan, especially these. We are facing so many uncertainties, so many. Some people go overseas. Problem coming back. So proper structure, proper. So in case of any comes, you are affected. And everybody says hadith, but on it. Prophet Muhammad is narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, it is not permissible for anyone who has something to build without having a testament written with him. So, based on what we learned on the Quran, we still importance of estate planning. The proper estate planning will show you why Allah gives later on that structured according to Quran. Also, the Prophet Muhammad said, a man may do a good for 70 years, but he actually, when he leaves, the wickedness of be sealed upon him and enter into fire. On the other hand, a man acts 20 years, but in his testament, his deed will be sealed and enter into garden of paradise. And also, Wasiya, we think of Wasiya is a whole will, testament, and everything. Wasiya is a total, that's your discretion amount. Everything is mandatory to. So, Prophet Muhammad visited Hazrat. So, Hazrat Saad said, Allah's Messenger, we only have daughters. Can I leave to the charity? Muhammad said no. About 50%, they said no. They say, who got 1/3? And Prophet Muhammad said, you can do that, but still, yes, it is too much. It is leave your inheritance, then leave them and begging to others. So the concept of distribution or optionally jariya going on, it is beneficial depending on your situation, and also the you can give is 1/3. You should have to go to your in Surah Baqarah, we have cases came up on this that who changes the will after hearing it, the will only be those who made the change. Allah is all hearing. So once ready, one exception is in those that is the next. Allah says, whenever whoever suspects injustice in the will and bringing about among all will not be sinful, so forgiving and most merciful. So we have few that somebody or they have a the whole family want to have distribution according to, but somebody may give share to somebody. So it's a will based on religion of all the family members. Calculation in estate planning depends on Surah Ayah 11 and 12. And these are two very, very complex, detailed. And Allah starts with Allah fi auladikum, command you regarding your children. So very strong, very demanding kind. Allah is ordering to provide your assets. For complete calculation on these two. Be fair, parents and your children. God know who's more beneficial for you. Then is also all. This is a golden ticket. Everybody, this is a golden ticket. We all, Allah says, "Tilka umayyatu yudhilu jannatin tajri min tahtiha al-anhar khalidina fiha wa zalika fawzul azim." These are the lives of whoever obeyed his messenger by his paradise under which abiding eternally, and that attainment. When we our niyah, we want to have this reward. It is not looking a worldly, for weight can be adjusted, children can be adjusted. At the day we die, you have to achieve. This is a golden ticket for. Think about when proper state. Then Allah brings a hand. And whoever disowns his messenger, I guess is put into to abide internally there, and he will have a punishment. We see cases. We have two daughters. We want to give an equal share. We have one daughter, sons. We want to give to son. So many scenarios. We have to bring them, and if wants to have a stamp or structure, we have to have a distribution of these laws. So there's a hadith also, whoever giving inheritance to his heirs, Allah will give from inheritance in better day of resurrections. So back home, and a lot of other places, always heard that disobey me, he doesn't have any shares, my assets cannot receive, and they are rebelling, they cannot move any of the benefits from their assets. Case study. So go through more question answers, but these are studies that we have already go through, and few business owners studies and stuff, but I heard fees. So what is the order of distribution according to the number one, and burial expense? Payment wasiya, which is 1/3 discretionary amount, and Sharia distribution. So if I want to put 5% to Sadaqah Jariyah, then given family can receive their shares. Basically, when we do estate planning, also this Prophet would not for the funeral prayer for that. There was a that only Mars and Sahaba, Muhammad can you, and they asked, do you have any debt? So they said yes. So say, pray on your prayer. And once took on, he said, let me debt, and I will, and then perform the janazah. But after 3 days, every day, Prophet used to ask him, have you paid the debt yet? Have you paid yet? And these not just personal debts. This is cars, your credit cards, your debt to, if any donations, pledges that we are taking on, we have. So what are the donations involved in planning for the basic level? One is a last will and durable advanced medical directive and living trust in most. Testament used to property to beneficiaries, specify last wish executor and important. If you have anything, you have children, you have to be protected. By the way, let me ask you, what is the biggest blessing or biggest asset we have? Iman. Second,
I'm going to keep saying again and again.
Anybody else? What's the second biggest asset you have?
That's what.
Is first. Iman is first.
The blessing you are Muslim.
Second is your children. And the third most important resource you have, time. Hazrat who start off 1,400 years ago and benefit to this point. If we utilize time and if we are calculating and everything, to value time. Last will and testament, guardianship, very important. Advanced medical directive, important, who deals with the medical, biopsies, organ donation, yes or no, whatever. Then also the most important, once written advanced medical, it is divine constitution, traveling, it the record. So, or when they pull your medical record, comes in and tell them that you are a Muslim, you will be buried according to the power of attorney. It is when you're traveling, you have the access, duplicate your power to someone who can manage your affairs. But be careful, you have the durable power of attorney. They can sell under your with these powers. You have to be very careful who these powers. All the documents recorded, my cell phone is a single document that will be recorded. So, the document that covers revocable living last will, Bora again, and then all of the documents to the trust. Few things are mandatory American law to have a valid will, legal age, a person should be a sound mind, must be in writing. Photography means that hand majority do not recognize hand anymore. Statement, you have to define the will and at least one beneficiary. To the beneficiary, Allah required the beneficiary have to have a distribution. As in American law, we are required a certain bylaws, so we merge them both. Okay. We question that out of I have Hello Kitab, I have a doctor, I have a parent. How can I? So the 1/3 discretionary amount that can be given to. So if there's more people or more than 3 people and also have a charity, you cannot give more 1/3 to everyone combined. Without a valid will, state district according to predefined rules, everybody gets equal shares. And wife, they own a property 100% to the spouse. Non-Muslim, so if somebody is practice Islam, they could also be entitled. Probate court will appoint a guardian for your mom, executor, and in charge of a 10% be if points it. Make require like a sadka jariya, you cannot have any distribution, and then uncle same also is relative. The financial power after a legal document, we already talked about. So on the medical, who designates someone as their agent to make decision on their behalf. Benefit power attorney, like remember we went to high. So if you travel, if you have any issue with the benefit attorney, somebody can manage. And if you have money and you're traveling, you should have guardianship paper authorization to care for the minor children. Again, medical power of attorney, advanced medical. So, who convert new Muslim in the community, we do free advanced medical, and we them to the masjid, in to them they bury had Islamic class. Trust. Trust is it is an entity created by the grantor during your life to of time-consuming program, and for your trustee to carry or disability. If someone any or anything, the trustee can manage all their affairs by laws. Asset disposal will not go through program, because trust itself is living entity. For your asset to the trust is living, and however it doesn't. If you do some better comparison, so this rate hires, you have anywhere from 1 year to at least 6 months in a living trust is a state, and you have bank the trust, you have all the assets into the trust, which is to your family. This is the goal. Families fulfill, secure. I heard secure the legacy, inshallah. Upon ensure the passes through the business and avoid burdens of probate. Securing your legacy means peace of mind. That goes to maximum to the and zero dispute. That is. So I think in conclusion we can. Any questions? Yes.
The age of the guardian for a guardian.
Age legal have 18 years old. Yeah, but are they handling their duty? So if the person is not capable, or they you can have a friend and have somebody else who can take for you. I tell always a lot of community centers. I tell as long as community knows each other. So if somebody family members here volunteer as a friend to help each other and to have a proper guardian Muslims to raise as Muslims. Any other question?
So,
yeah, sorry.
So I'm broke. I don't have any lot of assets to put in your portfolio or your representative.
Yeah.
All right. One question. So it's a lot of money. I want to have a lot of assets. So in your two different solutions, what is it that apply to someone like me that will be looking at the land will be beneficial rather than from a financial perspective?
Do you have children? Do you want to protect them? That's more important. And I'm going to go back to Mr. Aya and Miss.
It's number 11.
No, number 11 on the 7. The matter if you have a lot or you have to have a structure. In Surah it says for men and for and the closest relative, and for women there's a share of their parents and closest relative, whether it or much. Say that you have to have $1 million and have a proper state plan. Sure. Yes. Yes. No, sister, it doesn't. There's no report of the amount on the. Sister had a question. There is a question. What is the of the asset of the will that has to go to court? So if you have $100,000, judge have all of that and disperse beneficiary. It doesn't be $1 million, $10,000. When you have a few hundred in your bank account, they have who's getting that. But the only other point is there's no. If you, for example, you want to avoid, want to have that you can have, a beneficiary co-signer on your. You have a joint on any joint or beneficiary designation for probate. I have all your information and submitted. I have all since last year. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So third is not required. You have to have a distribution. It is discretionary, but it's just like I've been telling and talking, we should have a proper giving and endorsement for this community. Longevity that we are gone, this center is still going 200 years. The best way to do that is to have this in our wasiya percentage of donation, 5%, 10%, whatever you go. That whatever your asset that comes to Masjid Jariyah that continues forward for as there is a life. I sent you. I have your email. Yeah.
What's be Sadaqah Jariyah, by the way?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yes, Prophet Muhammad says it's better for you to be wealthy, poor, depending on each person's scenario. If you want to have a Sadaqah Jariyah, why? Yes, Hamza. Go to Mike.
It's not. If I want to give an asset to someone in ilm,
Yes.
to someone who has some medical
Anything.
that doesn't matter. Sadaqah Jariyah will know. Okay.
Just.
Problem with the word, and that's.
I'm sorry if I put you on that. When I showed you the slide, sister, I will just give a second. Yeah. So 1/3, any of these children, whatever somebody is taking care of, there's no limitations. There's not even a limit that there has to be a Muslim. Anywhere in the world, you want, you distribute.
Where is the one in the Quran?
as I talk on the hadith, one third is in a hadith.
Tirmidhi?
Let me show you.
Bukhari.
Here is in the Quran. I'm getting a lot of nice. I'm getting excited. Just give me a second. So, yeah, so this is a hadith. When Walaikum Assalam.
I have two. They're would they still get 1/3 or?
Maximum you can both advise them and guide them. It goes on both ways. Like for example, in the we set up that I'm a Muslim, I want my grow up as a Muslim and want to inherit anything from they have to practice Islam. Right? So if they become Muslim beneficiary, they can receive 100%. There's no story of 1/3. As long if of Islam, then Islamically, if you want to follow the guidelines of Quran, that they have to maximum of 1/3 combined.
Non-Muslims
No. Muslim children are your beneficiaries. Non-Muslim children, give them is 1/3. So, for example, if you only have 2 sons and there's, just okay, or whatever asset, if there's a daughter, she of your wealth. If there's 2, then 2. But if non-Muslim, the man can go is 1/3 a gift to them. It's not their obligatory beneficial. Any other question?
Brother, here is the thing. The Muslim descendants inherit. The one is not for someone who can inherit. It's haram to give him wasi. So someone who does not inherit, either non-Muslims or someone Muslim but is not related to you closely, basically. It doesn't inherit from, but it can have that wasiyah, like, okay? Can be you or someone like that.
The concept, wonderful concept is that Islamic wealth goes to a community between the Islamic to grow. To Muslim and Muslim, and everybody receive as a gift, but as brother, you had a question.
Yes, I have a question. The question once made.
Yeah.
Is this thing written in stone now? If somebody makes 18 and to
If you want one, I can order a stone for you. But
we don't know.
it's a good question. Yeah.
All day long, but there are things called codicil along the way.
Yes, absolutely.
Born.
Absolutely.
How's that happen?
So it's a good question. Basically, create a will. It says Yasir Zia, resident County, Maryland, declared this is dated. Today is May 2025. Anything happens tomorrow I change. Yasir Zia, resident of Maryland, Maryland County, will. Second, all previous. So any changes you to different county or anywhere or different, your probate the county laws, right? Then any beneficiary, if there's child born,
Codicil.
yeah,
For example, like this country.
yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
line by line. The president can't veto a line, but a code is a line by line in that, right? If you throw away the whole will, the will again,
Yeah.
if you move
Absolutely. Resident, like your house in Anne Arundel County, is a court of Anne Arundel County. Move to the Tennessee, you buy a new house, you have to follow that county. So how can you have a Anne Arundel County manager and living in Tennessee, valid will? Update, like if you have a wrong benefit, wrong, wrong process, you need to update those process. Go ahead.
if you continue to live in the state in that
Yeah.
that
Yes.
continuously, and you want to make a change,
There's no
then the
problem.
will stays. Will say you just make a code,
Okay.
like a paragraph or whatever.
So the boss of declares that when you do any changes to the new will, could be even a line, but when you did a new line, the new line, it automatically is the old will. Maybe you copy 199.9 and you have one change, and there's a new will on the second line that the old will was, voided.
That's I never heard of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I never heard of it.
I can give you, I'd love to have a talk with you, and I can show you the concept, the document
Yeah.
that they required. And when a new will, any changes that may happens to the will, I can give you.
Yeah, because still
Yeah.
law means something different. It's different, but okay.
Yes, sister. Sure. Yes. Power of attorney is to give people, if I'm a brother, I want them to know that whatever I can do for me if I have affairs. I cannot give power to a minor kid who's under 18, and if somebody is young, 20, or Allah says in Quran, whoever are not holding your assets, do not entrust them. So power of attorney is full power of authority, somebody who can manage your affairs properly. Yes.
They have dementia.
So brothers, many cases that husband or wife, husband got dementia issues or stroke, that person cannot actually. We have to bring his wife car. She went with him. The car was towed by the city. In order for him to take the possession back, he had to have a power of attorney signed. Minor things to handling the financial affairs, banks and houses and everything, are a crucial document. Yes. So there's two things. State of Maryland does not require to have a registered the when you seal it. What we do, you have one copy to sign, notarize. Second, we will go and the courthouse, clerks of will, put it in a seal envelope, signatures, put it in the safety deposit. Anything happens or anybody, the beneficiary have access to that. Nobody else. And if you and you have a new, you have to go pull that out and register the new one. That's the only way. You go deposit that in a. We do that. Yes. This is today it's information based. Are you ready to take it?
I'm just asking the judge scenario or
Everything was scenario. And no, based on the situation, based on what we have to do and stuff, that scenario. Yeah. Yes, brother.
I just think about the Wasiya. Was asked about the Wasiya. He said, Turut, it's too much.
Yeah.
And he got advice. Abu Bakr Siddiq, clear here.
Yeah.
Maximum, people can go maximum I can give. The Prophet ﷺ, the 1/5 that he gives as an advice of
MashaAllah, always learned more. It's a blessing, such a knowledgeable brother. Yeah, it's discussion, alhamdulillah, is wisdom, you grow. And the way is to be a student and carry on learning. So, any other questions? About yes.
Can you just talk the process of living will or help direct attention?
So the process, number one, we have a concept meeting and Zoom meeting, one-on-one and stuff. About what structure is, what is their end goal, right? Then decision is there to have a will or trust. For example, I got Virginia sister's coach, and she got the documents to prepare directive and power of attorney. She said, I need to do a trust for me. I said, do you need a trust? Why? She said, I said, what do you have asset in the trust? She said, insurance and my bank account. I cannot justify fees and putting you in. Have a will, have a power of attorney, because that is sufficient for you in this state. Later, we go to the
slide you had there. It's really 1 to 2 years. You want to the will have 1 to 2 years review.
no. Probate process may takes 6 months or 2 years, depending on complexity, and some. The reason that if you have any first 90 put a announcement, any creditors, they can put up against their assets. They have to wait, then they have to analyze all, and then you wait and for the program. So minimum it takes 6 months. If you don't have a will, if you have a will, you do those minimum, but a little bit faster. State doesn't have to court a guardian and for your state. Yes.
question relevant to like create a and your situation is
Yeah.
sometimes you are in the same county you're not you created thinking that you have one son, one girl. You got changed one.
Yeah.
You have to update.
If you want them to share distributed, if that person to receive the, forgot anything happened to who passed away, then in your will, the beneficiary, not anything happened to you, court said distribute to everybody, the beneficiary is already passed away. So the whole process, transfer those assets to living. So anything happen if there's a new, there's a pastor, executor, a guardian can pass. So
Just a follow-up. Code that into the will. Can you code this? That you
yes, you can. We have and if forgot anything happened to the person, they're living, right? Or if they give it to their children, that can be done. But exactly, that's the only way to have.
in the will name people for my 3 daughters. This I am given a it's like that, we will write specific names of
Okay. So the way we line and put, we either put a percentage of each of
to specific
the specific percent. I have two sons and a I will put their name. Mother, I will put my name and what percentage they are receiving. Simplify and study how to decide who. Good question.
If someone beneficiaries don't have their, how does it out for the process?
Okay, that is a good question. Clarifications on that. If a person doesn't declare anybody to anything, they doesn't. So, for example, in that scenario, we have a two bills. One is a check, one is itemized. Realizes whatever name is subject to this bill according to Sharia law, right? That could change. My bank account can go up and down. I can have some other property, right? I only do that option if he knows what I have, or my beneficiary knows what I have. If they do not know, then I will appoint federal, whatever, right? I have a businesses. I have this many percentage business. I have this. So and that goes to the beneficiary executor, so they are receiving.
I think the question is they know that
So if we do have that they forgot to tell, is a that is why we have to have a proper estate planning. If they do not know, it's hard for them to dig around, look to find out the documentation that what asset.
passes away and say, I know Smith has a will in.
Yes, I can. If they have a will, like my sister asked me that the will, if we have a will, you can go with beneficiary, they can go and ask, and the court will open and give you the exact.
Can we?
So this is publicly accessible.
No, so register the will with the court. We do not have access to power of attorney from grant to us permission to act.
Inside a will, social security number. For instance, two people with the same.
Is basically your declaration, your names, your date of birth, and scenario, and it does not require you to number, but two different people have the same family structure. We are both Yas. He have a several children.
They will not live in the same.
Yes. Good question.
What if the beneficiaries are overseas?
Okay. Also, then you have to have an executor who can take and send the beneficiaries their inheritance. And the thing, if you have a spouse who's holder and not a citizen, they do not have a time, they have a limited benefit amount with $75,000 life. Not an unlimited. Citizen, they have limited exceptions. But green card holder, $100,000.
Just to add something, for someone when you write your app, sure also you write.
Yeah, absolutely. We do require in there that what are, and that's why when in my funeral and before it has to be. Oh, good. I was. None of your and trust can control any asset out. By the way, us and brother, he asked me like one country. You can live in Anne Arundel and have a access New York anywhere. The properties under the trust is probated. It doesn't have to. But if you do not have and you have a property in Anne Arundel County, Howard, Montgomery County, single county go through the probate process. But the parties, the only way to manage, you can have a certified by the that gave you permission to go manage that, or have a will from Pakistan. You can have a will from the distributor asset there.
So, an example.
Just give, yes, yes. Have to beat me. So, purposes, will you receive everything, we distribute everything to right? So, minor children, you have all the assets are distributed. If you inherit, Maryland have $15 limit. It is a 13.9 million per person. So if inheritance is $5 million, we charge you 16% tax. So based on when you those level, if there's level of those, if it's below 5 million, then there's no inheritance tax, ordinary income tax who are receiving those, right? But if we have a property trust can, or we can have a guideline that only the assets just owns it, just a distribution of everything to everybody, be a law. The only minimum income and asset in the trust. Some other trust and a lot of other trusts going on over 100 that they still have a built up there. No, until you receive them out of the trust, based on your name, you have more than $5 million and you receive everything, then you have to pay there, right? You keep it in the trust and build it up, you pay the income tax on whatever money from the trust. Right? Sister, you have, sorry, brother.
Yeah, no, go.
So, number one thing is no probate, avoid probate completely. Two, to hold, for example, if there's a minor, we have a sub-trust in trust that declares that as long as they reach, they cannot have the beneficiaries, he will manage their, right? So, trust is based on bylaws and it is customized to family. Things like I told you, in the will is private, but the trust is a private document. So I can trust that, I'm a Muslim, children to follow Islam practice in order for them parents, they cannot take it to court. They have to find a Muslim, somebody to arbitrate and the issue. Regarding those assets, instead of will, everything is to the. Yes, brother. I'm sorry? Oh, yes, brother. I'm so sorry.
This is just person had a will, get, let's say,
Yes.
one of them passed away.
Yes.
He didn't get the chance or update the will, and he passed away.
Yeah.
This is the would that consider null or
No.
So how the judge
So-
gonna this share one of the kids will.
Okay, so there's two things. That if any beneficiary divide amongst the living one, usually all the do a properly happen, or something happened to one beneficiary, their assets should their descendant, their children, right? So scenario, if there's nothing, then the court decides, they have their children, so they're the children's. Good question. Yeah. Yes, brother. Sorry, brother. Brother. Yes.
Oh, I was saying, not to prolong, but and answer this question here about that would, that would be distributed. How about the for many years in the U.S. people put money insurance after is and there's no taxation.
No income tax. If you have 5 million, I'm of 9. So I'm also an insurance.
So you know that with the exception of and that very
that
no income tax.
there's no and there's one of the tool that you can get the debt.
Right.
But they do not want to bring the insurance. Mainly focuses.
You hold it back. You hide.
It's not hiding, but
To make that
time is up. Anybody have more questions? One. Huh? Yeah, we can. Yeah.
topics.
That's right.